Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this logo and they just need the house with an H in it. I've already done it. And for me, the easiest way to do this is not going to trace very well. It is pretty pixelized. And so instead of taking the time to trace it, well, what I am going to do, I'm going to get rid of all this garbage down here that they did not want. So I'm going to go to the crop tool, and with it selected, so it won't get rid of my original, I'm going to crop it. And now I have something that I can use. There's less distraction. Now what I'm going to do is kind of zoom in here a little bit and find the thickness. These lines are all equal. So I'm going to use the parallel dimension tool, and I'm going to kind of get on that edge to that edge, and that's pretty close. And it is 2.22 inches. That'll be easy to remember. So I'm going to make a rectangle. Matter of fact, I'm going to make several of them that are 0.222 wide. Now I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate. And I'm going to go ahead and just make them all. And then just start taking and placing your rectangles around this item. And to me, this is the easiest way to do it. And we're pretty close. Now I need to set my rectangle, make my rectangle to curves. Grab my shape tool and just bring that one up. And for the video, I'm going to go ahead and bring that one a little bit closer. Now, Control D and make a duplicate of that rectangle and mirror it. Then start moving it and hold down the control button. Now you've got an identical, I didn't place it very good. Let's zoom in here. Let's set our nudge factor on something little, 0.001. Grab our rectangle and nudge it over. So there's that part. We can take this and let's rotate it to get it close, and then bring it in to kind of that apex of the roof. Let's zoom in here a little bit. And then double click on it and move your rotation skew to that corner. And then just rotate it up. Control D and make a duplicate of it. Mirror it. Start moving it, and then hold down your control button. We're almost there. Just a couple more. It should be the same angle, but it's not. This angle right here is 66.33. So let's rotate it 66.33. And you know what? See, it's a little bit off, but I'm going to do it like the logo said, but at least it got me close. I'm going to grab my shape tool or my pick tool. I'm going to get it right there on that corner. I'm going to double click on it and move my rotation to that top. And then I can move this to there. Same thing. Control D and make a duplicate. Mirror it. And when I say start moving it, because sometimes if you start moving it with the control button held down, it'll give you a little bit, it'll try to break something apart. Well, let's get these two objects good enough. Now for a second, I'm going to change my nudge factor. Get these out of the way. I don't think I'll do the H. It's the same thing, or I might do part of the H. Let's set our nudge distance on. Let's see how big this is. This is huge, 33 inches. Let's make our nudge factor 40. Let's grab the H and knock it out of the way. Now the weld tool doesn't always work in this scenario, but we got rid of a lot of them. And one thing I probably should have done is take your virtual segment delete key, and you know what, I made the top portions too long, so let's nudge that back let's zoom in here. And we could do this a number of ways. Probably the easiest thing to do would just be to take a 2-point line and go from that node to that node. Then just take your virtual segment delete key and delete that. Now I should have done that before I mirrored it. And we do have a line up there to stop the virtual segment delete key from working. Now we're going to move it out of the way. And now we can weld it. Still might have some lines in the middle. And we do. And then just take your virtual segment delete key. I call it a key, it's not a key. And just delete these lines. And the center would be the same. And I'm a little bit off on my line here. Whoop. Let's back up, zoom in. And that one really wouldn't matter because what I'm going to do here in a second with the Smart Fill tool. And if you use the nudge distance, you can always put it back. So take your Smart Fill tool, fill it in. Let's nudge it double over the way, out of the way. Now the H would be the same thing. It's got the same thickness. You know what? It might be a little bit less. I think it is. Let's set our nudge distance back on 0.001. And you know what? It is a little bit thinner. I did that other one last night for the person. And it was such an easy job, I thought I would. So let's make it 0.2. And for the video, that's good enough. Then what you're going to want to do is just, I need to make it a little bit better than that. Just move it a little bit. That's good enough. Convert it to a curve. Take the shape tool and just take that node and bring it down. And like the one before, well, you could do two things here. You could do a 2-point line or do the nodes and delete it. Now we're going to nudge this whole thing out of the way. Well, remember we just have our nudge distance is real little, so let's say 15 inches nudge. I don't know what that is. Well, that's part of it. So go to arrange, break curve apart, and then you can take that away. Then I would use the Smart Fill tool. Then I would nudge that out of the way. That way all your points are welded. Now we can get rid of this one. Now let's bring this H, and because I'm using the nudge distance, everything's the same. And I said I wasn't going to do the other part, but I am. Control D, mirror it, start moving it, and then put it in this spot. I'm going to go ahead and finish. I just can't help myself. But you want to make it the same. So this is 0.28 or 0.18. I've got one left. Let's make it 2.18. Then let's rotate it 90 degrees and bring it into the picture. And there's several things you can do here. We're just going to place it in the middle. Our nudge distance is still pretty high. We're going to move that out of the way. Virtual segment delete key, and you could probably weld it. Let's try welding it first. See what happens. Nope, didn't help us. Virtual segment delete, 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 and then fill in with the Smart Fill tool. Now the weld would work now, but we don't need to. And because we kept our nudge distance the same. Well, I didn't. I moved it. But you get the idea. That's why you don't want to ever move your nudge distance. And if you ever do that, you can bring your original picture into the drawing and see if you're not on top of it. Anyway, I hope that helped them a little bit. And thank you for watching.